Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in to A Voice from the Ever Change meditation program. So here I will be guiding a meditation. We'll go into the present moment awareness. We'll start with the experience of the breath, entering and leaving the body. We'll expand out from the breath to include the sensations of the body. So doing what I call an abbreviated body scan. We won't go through each detail of the body, although I do offer practices in which we do that, where we go through and body scan very fine detail throughout the entire body. Here, I just briefly go through some areas of the body, allowing the experience of the sensations of the body to be a way of anchoring our awareness into the present moment. And then we'll expand out from the breath and the body to include any sounds, or also the experience of silence, which is always there within the present moment. So resting in the breath, the body, and the sounds. Now at some point during the meditation, might be after a few breaths, or it might be you're in the body, the mind will start to have thoughts. Absolutely normal to become distracted by our thinking during meditation. So if that happens, labeling those thoughts with the word thinking will make it easier for the thoughts to dissolve, and then we can just gently return back to the present moment experience. Now, if you've been with me before in my previous episodes, you know that what I have been doing is, after the guided meditation, reading a poem and a commentary from a book entitled A Voice from the Ever Change. Today I will be reading from that same book, but I will be reading the conclusion of the book. I've gone through all the poems and the commentaries. So today is just the conclusion. It's just a couple of pages long. But I think it might be helpful for some. Now, in the conclusion of this book, and in the introduction of this book and my last book, Such Sweet Thunder, I really try to write from an autobiographical place. So I'm really telling part of my story so that the reader, or in this case the listener, can relate to me as a human being, rather than just words on a page, or rather than just a voice coming from a screen. So in the reading today, I'll offer a bit of my story that's been written here in the conclusion of the book, then talking a little bit about the practices and the wisdom which I attempted to bring forth in this book, and then tying it all together at the end. So after I do some reading, I may or may not speak a little bit. I generally do just kind of improvise a little bit of teaching relating to the current world crisis of this COVID-19. So again, that's always open. Yesterday I didn't, which was one of the first times that I haven't done any talking in that fashion, but generally I do. Okay, I think that's all of the introduction I'm going to give. So I will ring the bell and I'll guide the meditation. I hope you all enjoy. So allowing the body, mind, and heart to rest. Just coming into this present moment experience. Noticing the breath as it enters and leaves the nose. You might notice a cool or a dry sensation arising from the nostrils as the breath passes in and out. Noticing the breath as it touches the back of the throat. Perhaps just noticing the temperature changing from cooler to warmer as you inhale and exhale. You might also notice the rib cage expanding and contracting with each breath. You might notice the abdomen rising as you breathe in and falling as you breathe out. You might also notice sensations of clothing moving to adjust with the falling of the chest and abdomen with each breath. There might be sensations of the back moving out as you breathe in and in as you breathe out. You might also notice the shoulders rising and falling with each breath. And perhaps noticing the body straightening up slightly on the in-breath and leaning forward slightly on the out-breath. So we'll rest right there just for a few moments, maintaining awareness on the sensations of the breathing process. From the nose, the back of the throat, the chest and shoulders and back and abdomen, and any other sensations that you might notice arising as a result of the breathing process. And just rest, breathing in and breathing out. And if at any time during the meditation you become distracted by your thoughts, simply label those thoughts with the word thinking, which will allow the thoughts to dissolve, and you can gently return back to the present moment. And while resting in the experience of breathing, allowing awareness to expand to include sensations of clothing against the shoulders, noticing the arms against the body, the hands resting against the body or touching each other. You might also notice sensations of clothing against the back, the weight of the body against the chair or cushion, mat or floor. And perhaps also noticing sensations of clothing against the legs, noticing the feet against the mat or the floor. And you might also notice sensations arising from the back of the neck and the sides of the neck. There might be sensations arising from the back of the head and the ears, allowing awareness to expand into the cheeks of the face, noticing any sensations arising from the cheeks of the face, including the lips, the nose and the eyes, sensations arising throughout the forehead, and noticing any sensations arising from the top of the head. And so we'll rest right there just for a few moments, maintaining open, spacious awareness on the sensations of the breath, from the nose to the abdomen to the nose, and sensations arising from the top of the head to the bottoms of the feet. And just rest, breathing in and breathing out. And if at any time during the meditation you become distracted by thoughts, simply labeling those thoughts with the word thinking will help the thoughts to go, and you can gently return back to the present moment. And now, while resting in the experience of breath and body, allowing awareness to expand again to include any sounds which might be available during this present moment experience. And depending on where you are in the world, you might notice the sound of crickets or bird songs, perhaps the sound of traffic passing by, or the sound of a breeze blowing. You might hear a neighbor talking or a conversation in the distance, perhaps a television or music playing nearby. Not focusing on any one sound in particular, but noticing the entire field of sounds. Hearing all of the sounds all at the same time. And in addition to any sounds, paying close attention to the quality of still silence within the present moment. And when we listen to this still, silent space, we might notice how this silence seems to surround each sound. And so we'll rest right there, maintaining open, spacious awareness on the silence and sounds, sensations of body and breath, and just rest, breathing in and breathing out. And if at any time during the meditation you become distracted by thoughts, Simply labeling those thoughts with the thinking will allow the thoughts to go. You can gently return back to the silence and sound, body and breath, and just rest. And so I hope you all enjoyed that very brief meditation on present moment awareness. And now I'm going to read the conclusion of my book, A Voice from the Ever-Change. And so as I was writing this book, I'm just going to give a little bit of background. I was just finishing up a contract for Celebrity Cruise Lines. For the past 4 years, I would be invited out on one of their ships that travels through Asia, speaking about Buddhism, giving talks on Buddhism, and teaching mindfulness as well. Now, the first time I went 4 years ago in 2016, I went for just 6 weeks. And this last contract was meant to be 7 months long. So they must have liked what I was doing. Okay, so that's all the background I need to give. Here is the conclusion of A Voice from the Ever-Change. It is today. The gift of today brings me to a warm, lovely, humid day floating in the extraordinarily crowded harbor of Singapore upon the Celebrity Millennium cruise ship. It is a much different day than when I composed the introduction to this book 5 months ago. As a result of the novel coronavirus outbreak currently spreading rampantly through Asia, the ship which I have been teaching on for the past 5 months has been grounded, and as a result, my contract has been cut short by 2 months. This unexpected turn of events has provided me with a superb opportunity to practice the teachings which I have attempted to put forth in this book. Namely, that life is impermanent yet joyous, fragile yet sublime, unreliable yet awesome. The human nervous system is, by its very nature, designed to seek a permanent, solid, and reliable place in which to reside. Our sense perceptions trick us into experiencing the world as being a solid and fixed entity. Alas, it is not. Much in the same way we see the sun rising and setting on the horizons of the sky, yet we know that it is actually the earth which rises and sets against the sun's horizons. We also logically understand that a solid, fixed, permanent location cannot be found. Regardless of this logic, however, we instinctually embark on search after thwarted search, hopelessly spinning around and around, chasing an illusion in the futile hopes of finding the ground on which we can finally rest. At one time, this seeking was a necessary drive for the survival of the human species, but it is now a part of an outdated worldview, which gives rise to a type of gnawing discomfort, which the human being is in constant flight from. The perennial wisdom teachings of the ages, to which I am attempting to bring a fresh and new voice, is a way to assuage the discomforts inherent in the very experience of existence itself. The primary teachings which I had hoped to bring forth and flesh out in this text are the teachings of contingency, impermanence, compassion, gratitude, the practice of resting, and meditation. When these concepts are fully known, embraced, grasped, and realized, there will be very little suffering in one's life. I hope that someday we can all live a life free from struggle, and thus more open to receiving the gifts inherent in the experience of existence itself. This can indeed happen, but it will require letting go of the relentless idea that if we can just arrange the circumstances of our life to match our desires in a lasting, permanent way, we will be forever happy. A key to freedom is the letting go of the belief that a life free from suffering and struggle will happen when we can succeed in possessing the things we want, or having the right job, or living in the right place, or finding the right relationship, or participating in the right activities. Of course, these things might give us a certain type of pleasure, but they are, by their very nature, transitory. We can and absolutely should enjoy every moment while they last, but recognizing that when these pleasurable experiences and circumstances pass, most of their satisfying qualities cease as well. If we cling on to or grasp at these passing and transitory events, or we try to create our identity around them, they inevitably leave us empty and hollow inside. We will be tossed back again into the search. It is due to this continuous pursuit that we miss the insight inherent in the timeless wisdoms of the world, that we are happiness itself. When we can step off the instinctual drive towards love, we come to understand that we are love itself. That we human beings are, in our very nature, complete. I am hopeful that the writing in A Voice from the Ever-Change provides you, the listener, with a fresh, new, and exciting take on the wisdom teachings of seers and sages past and present. May each poem be the flint which sparks the fire of wisdom inherent in your own mind. May each line of commentary bring forth the elixir of compassion from deep within the well of your heart. May your light inspire others to do the same. May peace prevail in the heart of humanity. May all be kind to each other. So I really don't think I need to say anything else today after that. May peace prevail in the heart of humanity. May all be kind to each other. May peace prevail in the heart of humanity. May all be kind to each other. So thank you all for joining me. I will be back tomorrow, starting a new series on loving kindness. And eventually I'll work through what's known as the 4 immeasurable minds. Those are loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. Thank you again. Stay safe, stay clean, practice your social distancing, 2 to 3 meters apart, wear your masks, and we'll get through this together. Be well.